those first couple years. He did a great job. I thought maybe kind of changing the way I worked out and changing my food would kind of get me to where I needed to be, and that's where Brooke came in. But he was a great coach. Just kind of I was kind of moving on to different things last year, but he's an awesome person.
That's good. Sometimes people talk about how some relationship with coaches will start out pretty good, and then as you evolve as a competitor, things change, your body changes, especially for women, and you have to find the right person to work with you. Brooke being a Olympian level competitor like she is, I think that's a good combination for you.
Yeah, being a woman and knowing that my body has hormonal changes and there's certain things that I need from a woman's perspective. Brooke has really stepped up to that, and she's been able to really change my look this year. Everything was bigger, everything was fuller. Her peak week plan was unbelievable. And I came in the best I've ever come in this past year. Um, so I was very happy with the look for sure.
hmm Now, what was your first show? And you said you and your husband were together. What's that first show y'all were together? And what was that experience like for you and both of you?
So the first show we did together was the NPC USA Masters last weekend. That was our very first show together. Was a national level show. She jumped right in. She had to kind of learn my body pretty quickly because I met her. We went into prep shortly after that, and it was a 20-week prep. It was pretty long. But that was our first show together, and she handled everything from the couple months of off season we had together to all of my prep, all of my cardio, all of my food, posing, I mean, down to the minute. And she is unbelievable, an unbelievable coach. I'm very fortunate to have her. Um, I will tell you the best part about it was getting a little bit of vodka before I went on stage. And that was amazing. That I was so relaxed by the time I got up there. I was like, yes, this is fantastic. So it was a great prep. It was my hardest prep ever was this past one. She really pushed me to my limits this year. But we carved out an amazing package for sure.
You're not the first person told me that they got a little tipsy before they did a show. I mean, you think that like you take that one sip, it's
Oh,
be ready.
I got so buzzed so quick I can't even tell you because I hadn't had a drink in 5 months. And so it was like my first time ever having a drink ever.
What was the spirits that you choose to drink that day?
Tito's. We did Tito's vodka, and it was amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like chef's kiss.
What about your husband? What's your husband's name? Was he also taking a little sip?
Oh yeah, he was drinking, sitting there drinking whiskey right next to me because that's his choice of drink, and so he just he rolls with the flow. I'm very fortunate to have a husband that cooks my food, gets the hotels booked, books our flights for these shows, he makes sure everything's in place for me so that I can be successful. So I'm very fortunate to have him for
And
sure.
what's his name? How long y'all been together?
Me and Marty have been together probably since the 90s. We met in Boca Raton many years ago in Florida, and we just kind of been together ever since. And he's been along for this whole journey of mine. And I've only been a competitor for, the past 3 or 4 years. It hasn't been very long for me at all. I'm a newbie, and you always have the hopes that you're going to do your first show and then go right to nationals and get the pro card real quick. And everyone has that, in their mind that that's possible. And I've tried a couple times and just not there yet. But God willing, this year is going to be a good year for me too.
Well, as long as I've been following bodybuilding, I know some ladies who competed for a long time before they get their pro card. Some ladies competed 20 years as pro amateurs
Mhm.
before they became pros. And it's tough. It's not as easy as I think it is. Here, this is the mindset of most everyday people about bodybuilding. All you gotta take is 6 steroids, you pump up, and that's it. That's all you need. No, there's more to this because you have, like I said, your training, your regiment, you your work you got to put in, the time. You have to be consistent. And also, you have to be persistent also because it's tough, especially for women because we're men and women are built different. Men.
Yes.
I often say this: men's purpose of life is to breed and die. That's it. It's like Conan says, "The crush your enemies, seem to do it for you, and hit the lamination of the women." So that's it. And y'all women are supposed to be our nurturers and I take care of our babies at home, but
Yeah.
Women have been doing bodybuilding for quite some time. We have here one of my followers, my man, my brother. Shout out to my man Lawrence Perkins coming through. He says, "Good afternoon, Chris and George. Happy Saturday. Thank you, brother, for coming through. We dropping that. Also, folks, if you want to follow um, Christina, her link is in the live stream. But guys, I have rules, and this is my rule, and there's no offense to you, Christina, guys. No D pics. Stop it. Get
Please
the
don't.
hell. She has a husband. I don't want to hear him be like, Marty said. Marty just went off one time. He just saw this guy. He said, "Hey, what are you saying to my wife for?" So now that you did the Masters USA Championship,
Mhm.
what was the critique from the judges, and what was your placing?
So I actually won 45 and up in women's physique. I won 40 and up in women's physique. I placed second in 45 figure, and I placed fifth in 40 and up in figure. I talked to Sandy last week, and she said that I wasn't symmetrical enough. So I'm a hard gainer on top, so I get real big on top. I get real lean on top. My legs are not big enough to match my top. So that's going to be the focus this year is a lot more legs. My legs just don't grow as fast as I'd like them to, but we're pushing. They've doubled in size for my first year of competing, so they're bigger than they were before. But that was the judges' feedback. The girl that did win, Kara, I believe her name was,
Kara Barnes, yeah.
yes, and she looked amazing, perfectly symmetrical, and by looking at her, I could kind of tell what they were saying to me. Her top matched her bottom, and so I got that, and so that's what our focus is going to be this year.
Yeah, I follow Carol Barnes. First, she was really, really, really working hard in this prep. She went through a lot. I gotta respect that. Couple ladies, I also one lady I interviewed a while back, Candy. She competed in women's bodybuilding, but she didn't get a pro card. And another
Mhm.
lady who's a friend of mine, she got a pro card also at that show. And you won in your class, but
Yep.
didn't get your pro card.
Yeah, and so I will say that was a bit of a source of confusion for me, because usually at these national shows, there's a pro card for class winners. And so I won my class 45 and I won my class in 40, and then I was sent to an overall twice where I lost in the overall twice. And it was very confusing for me because during between prejudging and finals, I went back and read the rules again because I thought me winning my class would meant that I got my pro card. When I went back and read the rules again, I guess I had been confused, and most of the girls backstage were confused as well. And it said that we would have to go to the overalls in the finals. Yeah.
Well, this is a subject we talked about. I do a lot of podcasts. It's called Muscle Talk Mondays. This was
Hmm.
shout out to my man Jeremy, aka the art female muscle. You should check out his stuff. I see a
Hmm.
week later, and he posted this where there was like this happened at the North Americans back last year. Two
Yep.
ladies had a pleasure interviewing. That's Hannah Hussein and Major Michelle Bogdan. They won in their class in women's bodybuilding, but didn't get their pro cards.
Right.
From what the saying of it, they're using NPC worldwide rules in which if you have to win in the overall to get the pro card. But with nationals, if you get nationals, you if all you got to do is make top two
Hmm.
in your class, and and just you get your especially in women's physique because women's bodybuilding is only you only there's no there's
Right.
only one pro card for each class in women's bodybuilding, but in physique, figure, and the others is top two for each
Yeah. I
class.
did. Yeah, I did the Junior USA's twice in Charleston. Sandy was my judge there too. And in women's physique, top two got their cards, class winners, and in figure, top three got their pro cards in those divisions. It was a little confusing for me, I guess. I was a little sad between prejudging and finals when I figured out what was happening. But it's my fault. I should have read the rules a little better, I guess.
Well, sometimes the rules can be subjective. I know they'll change up. Like I said, I know two ladies who just also one lady had interviewed Conchetta Washington. She also got her pro card. I think it was the Junior Nationals. Also, lady Megan Russell. They both got their pro cards at that same show. Here, shout out to my man Lawrence. He says, "Yes, be respectful. and mindful to Miss Chris and
Oh,
every athlete in the world. Thank you, brother.
thank
Appreciate
you,
that.
Lawrence.
One thing I was when folks was following her, there's something I found out about her, and and this is where it's interesting is that she used to be a cop.
I
So,
did. I did.
so
I was a cop in Georgia for a while, before deciding to go back to college. So I will say through two or three preps, I was trying to finish two master's degrees, and I just finished another one right before I actually had to take a final when I came back from doing nationals to finish up everything. So I was going through classes as I was going through these preps, and I work full time, and I have a son and a husband, and so super busy all aspects of my life. But yes, being a police officer was amazing. It was a great career for me. It was so great. It was so fun. It was the best time of my life for sure. Um, yeah.
well, with my other guy, he says like I'm not much a fan for law and justice. I like anarchy and chaos. But I would tell you, Christina, you are a lovely police officer in your suit.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, your uniform is it color? I say, hey, calm down. I'm
That's
sorry.
fantastic.
I'm sorry, Chris, Christina. I have to deal with him on a daily basis. It's like a battle.
Gotcha.
So, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into her social media for a bit. If you want to say you want to follow her, the links are in the description of the live. Check her out, support her, guys. You know the rules, and be respectful. So we'll jump in here in your social media for a little bit, and here you are. That's you and Marty
That's me and
together.
Marty. Yeah. Um, this is a lot of these pictures were during my first prep during COVID, but yeah, that's me and my dude. Um,
Yeah,
summers in
yeah,
Arkansas are wonderful for anyone wanting to come down to the Ozarks. Um, it's been wonderful. This
yeah.
was me getting ready for my second show. Um, so you can see I'm a pretty big gainer on top. A lot of shoulders, a lot of traps. I'm very fortunate in that aspect. The picture in the middle, that's one of my preps too, but this is where I started. The one with the little, that's when I was a little overweight. And then the one to the right was for my first show for the NPC Midwest. I was 3 weeks out in that picture.
Wow, he looks pretty good. I mean, like I said, this is the thing about bodybuilding. It's not just you change your life; it's changing habits that you should have, especially if you're like I can say I'm being overweight. Like one thing I had to change in my habits because I was taking my mom for a long time, and I just was pushing things to the side and worried about her. And this was at the St. Louis show where you won in your
Uh,
class in your
I
division.
won figure overall at this show for the NPC Midwest by Jack and Antitone. That was my very first show, and that was the one Tyler Mannion judged. And I won the overall in that one. So that was my very first show, starting off wonderfully. Um, it was a good show for sure.
Yeah,
If
I mean,
you have anybody in your audience that is ever thinking of doing the NPC Midwest shows, I highly suggest it with Jack and Ann. They're wonderful people.
well, I have a little personal beef with the Tones.
Oh no.
Recently, they had dropped Women's Physique, a lovely lady who I interviewed a while back, Marika Jones, the last competitor to win her title at this show. And also, they dropped Women's Body from Omaha. So, even though, hey, you like them, that's fine. But me, I have a personal beef with them. So I'm
Yeah,
just going to be,
I get the beef for sure. I understand
yeah,
it. I feel like women's physique is starting to drop off from a lot of things. Just when I'm getting started, so I hope it doesn't disappear.
yeah. And here you are, well, legend. That is 10 time Miss Olympia,
What a
champion.
wonderful human being she was. This was at the Dallas Europa. This is when I was just kind of getting started with bodybuilding, and I met Iris at that show, and she was such a wonderful, nice woman. So super nice lady for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
Iris is great. And here you are, you're graduating, there's
that
your
was my master's in education. That was my first master's, and that's my son Reese, and he's amazing. He's 19, so he's all grown up. All the hard stuff's done now.
yeah,
This was my yeah.
you did a good job.
Thank
You Marty
you.
raised a good young man. I mean, he be proud of you,
Raising
son,
good
because
human beings for sure. This picture right here in the middle was my first national show at Junior USA's in Charleston, and I've done that show twice already. So missed my pro card on that one as well, and that was just figure. Um,
Yeah, I'm saying
but
I'm not gonna lie to you, Chris. You have an amazing body. I am gonna.
thank you.
Yeah, like I said, that's in
Um,
my prime. I must have heard smell, yo, lady. She just
Thank
excited me.
you.
So
This was me the night before the NPC Midwest last year. This is where I won the overall in women's physique and in women's figure, and went to nationals 2 weeks later at the Junior USA's, where Sandy judged me again. Um,
wait, I
yeah,
got
that was my routine there. I came in fourth at this show in the overall. Um, Still an amazing. That was my first time ever going into physique. It was, but winning the overall in physique and MP and the NPC Midwest was amazing.
yeah. I mean, like
And Brooke
you.
did this whole routine for me. She designed all of it. Um, an amazing coach for sure.
Well, like I said, Brooke is a great person. I think ladies who've known her, who I've interviewed, and told me that she was a down to earth lady. I know Wednesdays I'd love to have her on here. Just to talk to her. I think she just has a great look to her. I was hoping that she was going to win in 2022, but you know how it is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Um, and she's such a hard worker, and she's my inspiration, and I make sure and tell her that all the time. That woman inspires me to be a better athlete every day. So I'm very fortunate to have her in my life. This is the last show up here. This is me and my son. We go to concerts together. We live in Arkansas, so we make sure and get to some of these shows in Oklahoma. Um, but yeah, he's big, and so this was my last show. This was at NPC USA Masters. Best, I mean, my conditioning was definitely the best it's ever been. Um, Brooke did a great job making sure I peaked properly. So pretty cool experience for sure. Um, so happy I got to try a master show. This was my first master show. So going against 20-year-olds is a little tough.
I know because like I said, one thing I learned, like it's different compared to when you're competing with somebody who's like much younger. The skin's still like baby, like
Yes.
soft like a baby. Never had to do with like best way to say it, like wet behind the ears, breast smell like Similac, and
Yes.
and when it's I think with women who are much older, it's like you hit that muscle maturity.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm knowing some ladies they really hit your strides like closer to their 30s and their 40s, even their
Mhm.
50s. And Masters is really getting big. As you know, next year is return of the Masters Olympia. They're going to have it in Tokyo. I know some ladies are going to be at that show,
Yay.
and even I even met the lady who won the show last year. That's Rashada Boswell. Here we got here from my man Lawrence Perkins. Shout out to Lawrence. He says, "Chris, your story will inspire others, including myself. Shoot, that will change lives as well."
Oh, so
Also,
sweet. Thank you,
yeah,
Lawrence.
he's a great guy. He says, and beautiful physique, Miss Chris. Great routine. Your journey. Keep on being the best mother for your boys. Bless your husband as well, and may God keep you in life. Yeah, shout out to
Oh,
man
thank
Lawrence.
you
I,
so
I
much.
he's